Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. Every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time, we'll come to you live with this broadcast. You can go to Ministry Moments YouTube, Bob Gray Sr., and then you can go ahead and subscribe. That way you can watch and listen to this at your convenience, because you're busy, I'm busy, all of God's children are busy. And so you do that. And you can get it from your favorite podcast provider. And you can also go to solvechurchproblems.com. I started that ministry years ago. I'd spent so much time traveling the country causing trouble. I thought before I met God, I better start solving some of the things I caused. But anyway, I hope that you'll subscribe. That way you'll get this every week. I know it'd be a blessing to you. Well, today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about longevity. Longevity. It's very important that we drive a tablet down, stay where we're going to stay, and get the job done. I'm not saying God's against you moving. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we've got to be very careful. So let me just give you some thoughts about longevity. Let me give you some names. Can I do that? J. Frank Norris. For 15 years, he pastored in two churches, Dallas, in Fort Worth, and then also at Temple Baptist in Detroit, G.B. Vick's place. He didn't really hit stride till he was 60. That's when he hit stride. Ernest Papa Reveal, same thing. A great world-renowned rescue mission worker, but he did not really hit his prime until after in his 60s. Robert Schuller, the same thing. It was after he hit in the 60s that the great ministry in LA was brought to pass. Dr. Bob Jones Sr., he was 63 when he relocated Bob Jones University to Greenville, South Carolina. 63. I hope you'll pay attention here. Les Roloff, in his 60s, before he came to the surface nationwide in the great ministry that he had. T.T. Shields, known as the Spurgeon of Canada, was in his 60s when he started Toronto Baptist Seminary. L.R. Scarborough, a leader of the Southern Baptist Convention, was 68, and then in the 70s, they started writing his books. It wrote 14 books. I'm just giving you names of men who hit their stride after decades. And I want to get that stuck in your head. G. Campbell Morgan, same thing. He was at age 70. He returned to England and became pastor of the Westminster Chapel at 80. W.B. Riley in his 70s. C.I. Schofield, died at 78, but it was in his 70s that he really came to fruition. D.L. Moody died at 62. Great R.G. Lee, great. My wife has several handwritten letters from R.G. Lee when he'd come to Hyles Anderson and preach. My wife was Dr. Griffin's secretary. And John R. Rice died at age 86. What a great, and the Sword of the Lord became, he had 3 earned doctorates. He felt like he wanted to teach and be a professor in college. He conducted giant citywide campaigns in his late 60s, and God has him. Dr. Curtis Hudson died at age 60, built the world's largest church in Georgia later on, towards the end of his life. Harold Seitler died at 81, pastored 55 years. Bill Rice died at 66 at the world's largest deaf camp. Dr. Jack Hyles at age 74 went to heaven after 54 years of ministry. Dr. Lee Robertson died at 91. And after all those, he ran 10,000 in attendance in Sunday school for years. At age 90, he conducted meetings in 150 churches. And so you can see the example of these men who stayed with it, and longevity was their friend. They stayed when others ran. And you've got to learn and get this thing stuck in your head. You've got to be there for a long time in order to have a long-standing work. So let me give you some thoughts about longevity, if I may. Number one, there are 2 works being done. The work you do on the people. Or 2, the work they do on you. Many times, pastors, I go somewhere, they say, well, Brother Gray, help me find another place to go. My work is done here. And I would say, well, your work may be done, but is their work done? The work you do on them is one thing, but buddy, don't you for a second think they're not doing work on you. I had one critic every year would come see me and tell me all the mistakes I made the year before. And I remember Sue, my secretary at that time, said to me, Brother Cray, everybody knows he's a critic. You don't need to see him. But I did need to see him because he told me things that I would not tell myself. That's why you need a preacher. Someone to tell you what you will not tell yourself. Well, sure enough, he'd come in and say, this wrong, this wrong. I write it all down, but every once in a while, oh man, the Holy Spirit pricked my heart and say, boy, he's right about this. He's right. And we need that. So there are two works being done, one that you're doing on the people, but there's one they're doing on you, and it may be not done yet. Oh, yes, the church split may be part of God's will. Yes, a fuss here and a fuss. Yes, your staff member turn on. Yes, all of that. That doesn't mean you tuck tail and run. It just means that you go through it, not around it. Number two, it will begin to come together according as I studied these men. After the age of 50, it'll start coming together. Some are late bloomers. It may be 60. But I'm just saying to you, Brother House said to me one time, just about time to figure it out, you die. But I'm just saying to you, it'll start to come together at age 50 plus. So understand, you got this is a long road, a long haul. Pace yourself. This is a marathon. This is not a 100-yard sprint. So number one, two works being done. The work the people are doing on you and the work you're doing on the people. Number two, it will not begin to come together until after 50, age 50. Number three, impatience is the bait of Satan. Impatience is the bait of Satan. He doesn't want you to get through win the victory over this. He doesn't want that because you will become more bolder in the work of God. Once you've gone through it, you saw God brought you through it, and you saw the victories that came on the other side. Satan doesn't want you to see that. So impatience is the bait of Satan. Not every door, open doors of God, never closed doors of God. You've got to walk with God. You've got to be patient. Dr. Evans, when I left Hyles-Anderson and went to pastor my first church, sat down to me and he went to Ephesians on the armor, and he pointed out the evil day, that little phrase, the evil day. And he said the English word "the" is a definite article, which means there's one. So there's one. What does that mean? He says it's like playing a chess game. Satan makes his move, and you prayerfully walk with God, and so then you make your move. Satan says, well, that's pretty good. I think I saw that from Jack Hyles one time. So then he makes his move, but then we walk with God, plead with God to help us. We make our move. Satan's impressed by it. But then one day you don't pray. One day you don't walk with God. One day you make a rash decision and Satan says, gotcha. He's setting you up for that one evil day. Don't let it happen. Don't let you walk with God every day. I spend 2 hours with God every morning. I don't want TV, music. I don't want anything. I don't want anybody around me. I'm going to spend my time with God. I have to, because I got to make sure every move I make is led of the Holy Spirit of God and not impatience. So number one, two works being done, one that you're doing on the people, but one the people are doing on you. Number two, it will not come together until after age 50 or plus, or maybe 60. Now, if that's true with J. Frank Norris, then I think it'll be true with you. Now, there are a few phenoms that come along, like Dr. Jack Hyles in his 20s, but that's unusual. That's very unusual. And usually these child prodigies at the beginning destroy themselves because they become full of themselves. That's what happened to King Saul. And you don't want that to happen to you. So we're talking about longevity now. Two works being done. One, the work you're doing on the people. Two, the one they're doing on you. Number two, it won't come together until 50 or 50 or 60. It'll start coming together. But if you're not staying in the same place, it's not going to come together. You can't keep moving, keep transplanting. My wife had a tree out front. She kept moving it here, moving it there, moving it there. And then one day the thing died because it transplanted so much. Number three, impatience is the bait of Satan. Number four, moving creates an appetite for the new. When you move, because you're happy, by the way, it's the same deacons, just different names. Same Sister Ratchet doll, just a different name. Same Dr. Broadbottom. It'll be the same thing. You're not going to escape it. You've got to go through it, not around it. So moving creates, if you're not careful, appetite for the new. Oh, that's why divorce a second time and a third time, you're more apt to do it if you divorce the first time. There's something about the new start, the new church building, the new people, the new everything that lures you to leave the fight that you're supposed to finish your course, finish the fight. Now, I said, number one, longevity, 2 works being done, the work you're doing on the people and the work the people are doing on you. Number 2, it will not come together until you're 50 and 60. It's not going to come together. Number 3, impatience is the bait of Satan. Number 4, moving creates an appetite of the new. Number 5, you stunt your growth by moving too much. I'm not saying that moving is wrong. I'm not saying Brother House went to, I think, 4 different churches in East Texas and Texas. I understand that, but it was in his youth. And he did great things wherever he was and didn't run from a fight, never ran from a fight. So you stunt your growth by moving too much. Quit moving so much. Stay put. Fight the battle. Run that taproot down. If you will get 50, if you every week you'll get a convert down the aisle and baptized, that's 52. If half of them stick, that's 26. You can win your way out of this thing if you want to, but you've got to do it yourself. Don't get mad at your people because they're not producing souls. Look in the mirror and get mad at yourself. Do it yourself. 52 in 1 year, 26 stick. Adults, man, you're on your way. Number 6, the same battles await you everywhere. The same battles await you everywhere. It's just a different name, just a different person, but you're not going to escape the battles. So you leave one place because this church, they love me and so on. Yeah, the guy that helped me move to Texas, the first one to turn on me. It's just the nature of it. You don't move to get away from. You're going to have to fight those battles over again, just different people, different names, different faces, but the same battle. So we're talking about longevity. 2 works being done. Work you're doing on the people, the work the people are doing on you. Maybe they're not through with you yet. Number 2, it will not begin till in your 50s or 60s. It's just not going to come together. Next, impatience is the bait of Satan. He waves it in front of you. Never wake up Monday morning, well, should I leave? You never ask yourself that. And Satan's going to knock on your door. Just don't let him in. Don't entertain him. He'll knock on your door, all right. And he'll say, you need to get out of here, but don't listen to him. Now, there's sometimes you ought to go. And that's why I say not every open door is of God, but not every closed door is of God. And that's why you need good, godly counsel, men who've been around the block a few times. Older people, the hoary head, if you please. So the same battle awaits you everywhere. Next, lateral moves are not of God. They're not. A lateral move is not of God. If God's going to move you, it's because there's more population, a better facility, something like that, and you did it in a small town. What you could do, and if God moves you from one pastor to another, it'd be because there's greater opportunity, more population, more opportunity. And so God's not going to make just a lateral move. An assistant who moves from one church to be an assistant in another church, that's a bad move. An assistant who moves to become a pastor somewhere, that's a good move. That's a good move. But again, it's lateral moves basically are not of God. Number 8, great men are known for what they do at death. Great men are known for what they're doing at death. So you keep going. And don't let the end of your life be less productive than the beginning of your life. Number 9, stay. When a hurricane hits, the American government, the Air Force flies planes in there to study those hurricanes. And in the middle of that hurricane, it's as peaceful as can be. The storm is around the center. So when you get in a battle and stay. You'll have more peace there than you will going somewhere else and then trying to explain why you left. So we're talking about longevity, 2 works being done, the work you're doing on the people, the work people are doing on you. It won't come together point number 2, until your 50s or 60s. It's impatience is the bait of Satan. Don't bite it. Number 4, moving creates an appetite for the new. So you're digging a hole, then you're going to dig another hole, all because it's new and fresh. Number 5, you stunt your growth by moving too much. Number 6, The same battles await you there that you have here. Number 7, lateral moves are not of God. They're not of God. Number 8, great men are known for what they're doing at death. So you keep going, keep going, keep going. Then number 9, stay in the battle. Number 10, die in your pulpit. Just roll over, croak, and die in that pulpit. You'll leave it to somebody you think will take it and do more with it, and they'll destroy everything you've worked on. So just simply die in the pulpit. Stay there. Don't ever pray about leaving. And like I say, every open door is not of God. You be careful. Longevity. I've given you names from history of men who longevity was in their favor. And I've given you some thoughts of mine about longevity. And I think longevity will be in your favor. So you decide right now that you're just going to run that taproot down real deep and not go anywhere. I had an opportunity one time to go to Fort Worth, a fairly good church. And I called Brother Hiles on Sunday afternoon. And he said, Brother Gray, what is it? I said, well, I've got this church over here and they want me to come and pastor in Dallas, Fort Worth. Brother Hiles said, well, Brother Gray, if you hadn't driven that taproot down so deep, you might consider something like this. And he said, why did you do that? I said, because you taught me to do that. That's why I did that. And I'm glad I did. I had a chance to take Emmanuel Baptist Church in Pontiac, and Dr. Tom Malone was pastor. And I called Dr. Lee Robertson and I said, Dr. Robertson, should I take this? He said, Brother Gray, you put Longview on the map. I didn't even know about Longview till you showed up. So don't take it off the map. Good statement in it. God bless you. There we go. Longevity. Hope it helps you. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to Ministry Moments YouTube, Bob Gray Sr. And join us every week. And maybe it'll help you. Maybe it won't help you. But you join us each week. And now tomorrow, soul winning Saturday, preparation day for the Lord's Day. You get with it. You get people saved, line them up for church on Sunday morning. And church starts at Sunday school on Sunday morning. God bless you. Have a great week.